So I've taken a short on euro dollar based on the fact that we've come out and taken out previous day's high. We came out and took it out twice in a row. The way we approached it with this strong bullish pin bar, this low wick pin bar, which provided a room for price to come back down into. And because let's look at higher time frame, we are in this bearish order flow. Weekly time frame, I am bearish. We had this strong bearish engulfing candle last week. I'm predicting price to come down to the sell side liquidity at this level right there, and I was predicting price to come to previous day high below that daily time frame or the fair value gap, this one right there, and find some kind of a resistance or provide some kind of a pattern. And to me, price came into that level. We put in this bearish engulfing candle, which after price starting to pull back and has now come into that level. Again, in the previous day's high, initially we had this fake break. We had this breaker followed by this fair value gap, which is essentially one of the best setups, and this market structure shift, right? So essentially I was expecting price to come and hold this, but this was during the night, during Asian session, and I don't really look for trades then anyway. So that failing to hold and price coming back up and tapping into the previous day's highs twice is one of the main reasons I'm looking for entry, and also the fact that we have SMT on GU with EU on the 1 hour time frame. So here we go. Price, this is one of the main confluences as well for me. We made higher highs from this high right here, right on EU, whereas on GU we failed to make high, and then we made lower lows. Well, the higher lows, and has been displacing lower, whereas EU has failed to catch up with GU. So to me, that's a sign that we might see a potential reversal. I'm not sure if we'll come down to, all the way down to these lows, but at the moment I'm targeting this low right there. And also we essentially had a accumulation and manipulation going on right here. We had this small accumulation, price manipulated that Asian range, and then we had this bullish engulfing candle that took out wick on either side, and that provided again another level for liquidity for price to come down into, which it has come down to now, and I'll see how price plays out. So that trade got stopped out. Price pushed lower, trapped all these sellers around here, and then pushed up, and it's now trapping all the buyers. I was predicting maybe price would come into the daily time frame fair value gaps 50% and find resistance. However, the way price printed this candle right here, this strong bullish candle that took out liquidity below and closed above with a strong momentum, it's essentially trapping buyers into the market. Because the order flow is bearish, this will suggest to everyone in the market that we're going to go bullish. However, this is the perfect time to go for a short. I was waiting for this candle to tap that 50% of the fair value gap, which it didn't, and then it printed this strong bearish engulfing candle on the 15-minute, which took out liquidity on either side, and for me that was enough reason to go short, and I went short at the close of that candle, aiming for at least the Asian session low. Ideally, the close at 4 o'clock candle should be either a bearish engulfing candle, or it should be a series of bearish candles now leading to price continuing its bearish displacement or bearish order flow, and that should be the highs, unless during New York session price decides to, we take out this low and then pushes up during New York session, fine, then finds resistance again. So after entry, like I was expecting, we saw 3 bearish candles in a row, and this gave me a lot more confidence to hold the trade, for it to come down to at least Asian session low. And this is at 6 a.m, so just before New York open, and as I keep saying, between 6 and 7 and 8 and 7.5, 8, you normally see some kind of a pullback into just a manipulation in a trend, and that's exactly what happens during New York. We see this pullback, which also happens to be an order block. The only reason I didn't want to trade this was mainly because there were no fair value gaps, and we still had this candle that I wanted price to come and close below. And after seeing that, I continued to let the trade play out. So yeah, as price started to displace lower, this was another entry right here. Price comes below New York open, pushes up, we get liquidity grab off the swing high below these fair value gaps, and then we drop lower, comes back into that New York Open somewhere around here. Could have entered. Oh, again, another entry to that New York Open. Again, another good entry right here. We started to displace lower and lower. The 12 o'clock, we had this 12 o'clock order block, right? That's manipulation, and then price dropped lower. We also took out liquidity off that order block as well. The highs of that candle displaced with this strong bearish engulfing candle, and that was enough to provide another entry if I didn't want it to be so aggressive up here, because I was expecting price to tap into that daily time frame fair value gaps 50%, which it didn't. So that was quite an aggressive entry, mainly because the way price approached up there with this candle and took out liquidity off the highs of that candle, and that was quite enough confirmation for me to go short, but it's still very aggressive. And if I did want it to be a bit more conservative, this would have been an entry right here, and something that I should be taking even if I'm already in a trade, because this is such a good entry on a bearish order flow. We had this displacement after taking liquidity off that 12 p.m. 7 a.m. candle and displacing with that engulfing candle, and then pulling back into the New York Open at that 618, and that was a good entry for price to continue lower. Because of CPI and stuff, I took target 1s at the Asian low right there, and then I took target 2 at the low of this swing right here, where we found some support towards the end of the day, right? But price continues lower. We take out this swing low from last week, find support, and then we continue lower into the sell side liquidity, and then after that we start to consolidate. Also, we had CPI coming out on Thursday, so for me, with all this, honestly, this is pretty good. Yeah, with CPI coming out, I really did not want to aim for these lows, because I wasn't sure whether price was going to continue consolidating, push up one more time before CPI or during CPI, and then come down and take out these lows. So because of that, I just wanted to be out of the trade as early as I could. But it does look like I could have taken target 1 somewhere around here and then let the rest run all the way down. At least the highs of the week was made during London session, just at London session, at the start of London session on Tuesday, and I caught pretty much the peak of that high, which is crazy. And could have caught one more after displacing lower, but that's fine. I was more focused on one trade, and then price takes out those lows, and then this is how the week ended anyway. A lot of consolidation, so a lot of room. Price went quite low, right? We went into that weekly order block, which is order blocks like open, which is right around that area. So that's a lot of potential, extended target. So, but yeah, great trade. And even next day, we had this order block that formed. That was during London Open as well. After seeing that, I was quite worried that maybe we're going to continue higher, but we didn't even take out liquidity off this low before forming that order block. So, and especially price, the way price has been displacing lower, it's likely that this is just an order block, and then price dropped, closed below, took out this like previous week's low, which is one reason I wasn't looking for trades, and then came and held the 50% off that order block. When did it come up to that order block's 50%? So yeah, between London and New York session, this time we don't really get that manipulation during New York session, and then we just drop lower, continue to tank, and then down to that sell side liquidity. So yeah, overall a good trade. Potential entry reasons identified after entering the trade. So another entry reason to enter this, trades, and yeah, something I want to watch out for in the future, especially if I want to be a bit more conservative. So overall, yeah, good higher time frame order flow trend trade.